Just 5 to 7 minutes. As soon as I finish eating, I'll.
Okay. So we'll revise up the nomenclature. Do you want me to revise the rules, or I'll give you guys some examples? You'll start practicing.
Ma'am, can you take you like where can we solve a couple of examples with you and then we can like do a couple of them on our own?
Okay. Okay, so I'll take an example directly then. Do you guys remember? Do you have the list of the ligands and the names with you? If you have an H3, what do you call? If you have H2O, what do you call? If I have a Cl minus, then what do you call? ये पूरा list है क्या सबके पास? Do you have a table somewhere, like either from the textbook or if you have noted it in class, or in all in one, like anywhere? Do you have a list of names? If you don't, then I'll display. You can like just quickly copy
And
it.
there isn't an explicit table given any like for what ligand, what suffix or prefix needs to be used. I just remember the ones that we've already done or examples that I've previously solved. Through that, I know what the ligand is called. But I can look up. I can look up for an image. Let me see if I can find something.
I have an image here. If you need it, I'll do that first. Otherwise, jump right in.
Yes, ma'am. Can you send it on WhatsApp or something like that so you don't have to
We'll do that after class.
Yes, ma'am.
Example, let's see how you guys are doing first, and then based on that, I'll send it. I'll need response from you guys, Ansh and Shantini. You can't just be quiet. I don't know if you're ready or if you need it or don't need it. Like, give me some response. No, your video is also not on.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Miss, I have it.
break. Yeah. Okay. We'll start off with simple one. PT NH3 taken twice, Cl2. So give the name for this. So one. And the second one, I'll give you guys the name and then give me the potassium, hexacyanide, ferrate 3. The name for the platinum compound and the formula for the potassium compound. Oh, Mitali has sent. Yeah, the first one name is correct. Formatting is a little issue, but I'll take care of that later. But yeah. Spelling also.
Please don't answer 1 second. I'm answering. I'm just typing it. Just give me a second.
Yeah. I'm not gonna reveal the answer. It's not a mine. Check your spelling also, Mitali. So for formatting, no, take hint from the name that I've given here. You can see that it's all like a single word, all small letters. Use that. Dhriti's typing. Ansh, Shantanu, where are you guys at? You sending?
Can you explain how which
Okay. Dhriti. No, Dhriti. I mean, you got like bits of it correct, but the overall thing is not correct. Okay, like I'll give you guys the rules in shorthand. Try and figure it out based on that. Okay, so Shantanu, take it down. Ansh, what about you? Are you like are you typing, attempting, or are you stuck? Okay, Shantanu, like if I have to start writing the name, first rule is always cation first and then followed by anion. Okay, this is the same as the name of compounds that you guys write. Like agar NaCl hai, so you call it sodium chloride. Always start with cation and then anion. If you have CaCO3, calcium carbonate, cation first, anion next. So here also you do the same thing, like the primary cation first and then the anion next. So Dhriti, this is where you had made a mistake. So here Cl2 is outside the bracket. This is explicitly the anion. So the name ends with chloride. And cation is this whole thing. So we need to figure out a name for this complex. Okay. So follow the formatting. First cation, then anion. Next rule. This is pretty simple, so it is straightforward. But if you have multiple ligands, no, if you have NH3 and there's like H2 also and F2Cl2, like whatever, if you have multiple ligands, all of them follow alphabetical order. If you have multiple different ligands, it's alphabetical. Okay, next. This is exclusively for ligands. Each ligand has a special name. So if it's an anionic ligand, then it's gonna end with O. तो यहाँ पे ammonia like anion नहीं है. So suppose if I have like Cl minus, chloride है anion, so this will become chlorido as a ligand. Yeah, this, yeah, Dhriti, you had followed, but I think you got confused. Cl2 क्योंकि बाहर है, it's not considered a ligand, it's a anion. So it's going to end with chloride only. If it was within the square bracket, then it's going to change into chlorido. OH minus hai, this is hydroxide. So this becomes hydroxido that way. Okay. So the same name, like cyanide became cyanido. So same name, just that ends with O. And if it's neutral, then the name remains the same, except for special cases like ammonia. So ammonia ka naam becomes amine, AMMINE. Okay, and water becomes aqua, CO is carbonyl, like even though that's carbon monoxide, that way. There's some special names there. Next, if there's multiple, like look at this number. So that takes on the prefix of, just like IUPAC, prefix of di, tri. So agar ek hai, to you have mono. If there's two, then there's di. If there's three, then there's tri. Isme a subcategory is sometimes the ligand itself will have something like this present, like diethyl something something. In that case, use something like bis, tris, that sort of a thing. Like if the ligand name already contains mono, di, tri, then it goes to bis, tris that way. So all of this indicates the number of ligands. Next, mention oxidation state in brackets. The central so in it, you have to use Roman numerals, put it in brackets. Last rule is check whether the coordinate this thing is a cation or anion. So if it is cation, I'll just write it here. So if it is cation, the name remains the same. And if it's anion, it ends with 8. Okay, so platinum hai to wo platinate ho jayega. Like that's what happened over here. This has become ferrate because this whole thing is an anion. So you can see that it's in the second part of the name also. Okay. So Shantanu. Okay.
Ma'am, can you explain the 6 point again?
Point, yeah, you need to check whether whatever is in the square bracket, whether that's a cation or anion. So ye wale example mein, it is forming the first part of the compound. Matlab overall this has a positive charge kyunki Cl minus has a negative charge. So ye ho gaya cation. So whatever is the metal name, like it's going to end with platinum only. But if it was an anion, like for example, if it was something like Cr Cl2 H2O taken 4 times, the whole thing in bracket minus. So the whole complex is an anion, right? So you mentioned the ligands first, finally end it with chromium, because that is the metal here. So chromium turns into chromate because it's an anionic complex. So agar ye anion hai, so the ending will be in 8, like chromium becomes chromate, platinum becomes platinate, gold like aurum becomes aurate. What other? Nickel hai to nickelate. So it'll end with AT, just like your carbonate, sulfate, all these anions. But if it is a cation, the name remains the same. Like you will keep this as chromium. This will remain as platinum. Okay, so 6th point is talking about the metal that is like that you're ending the name with. Uska naam hai, agar cation hai, to you'll keep it as it is. If it's an anion, you'll end it with ATE. Okay. So construct this. Pehla cation, fir anion. So ending will be chloride. The beginning cation will be whatever name iska hoga. So to construct its name, pehle ligands. So Shantanu, can you identify what ligands are there in this? So Dhriti, are you going to?
Cl2.
Huh?
Cl2.
No. Ligands matlab whatever is there inside the square bracket. This is the counter ion. The ligand is whatever is inside the square bracket. So NH3 is the ligand here.
Miss, you were telling me something.
So I was asking you if you're going to give it a try again.
Diamine.
And Ansh, I have not received the answer from you yet. Okay, so Shantanu, NH3 is the ligand. So how many NH3s are there? Compound mein?
2.
2. So for 2, what will be the prefix that we use? Like mono, di, tri, tetra, penta, small.
Di.
Di. So di. Abhi ammonia ke liye, what name should we use? Can I write it diammonia directly or should I use a different name for it?
Amine.
Amine. Yes.
Miss, won't we use diamine?
Correct. That's what he said. Diamine. Anything else that is there over here? ligands तो ammonia ही है. There are two of them that we have considered here. So diamine. उसके बाद metal कौन सा है इधर? What is the name of the metal? Central atom?
Platinum.
Platinum. So will I use platinum directly or will that turn into platinate?
Would be platinum.
Correct. Will remain as platinum. Next, metal के बाद oxidation state specify करना है इधर. So what is the oxidation state of platinum here? Can you calculate? We've done this yesterday. So
Said -1.
माइनस नहीं, लाइक ऑपोजिट होना चाहिए ना. Cl के ऊपर -2 है. If the whole thing is neutral, इसका charge +2 होना चाहिए. So then it will be neutral. No? So put 2 in the Roman numeral here. Okay. So name, format, see that all of it is one single word. Only cation, anion are separated by a space. Then wherever the metal ka naam aayega, whether it's in cation or anion, put the oxidation state as Roman numeral like this. ठीक है. तो अभी same process use करके you need to reverse engineer this. Will you be able to do it or should I discuss this? Shantanu?
I want to try it first.
Yeah, give it a try. I'll give you guys a few more for practice. I think you're there. We just need some fine tuning. So I'll give you some more. So chromium wala, do it. CrCl2 H2 taken 4 times plus. So यहाँ पे multiple ligands है. So alphabetical use करना है. So I've given you guys 4 more. Send your.
Miss, I'm typing the answer. Just give me. Can I write them down and send you the photo? That is that okay? Because it becomes very long to type.
चलेगा. Ansh, what is going on? Are you there?
Ma'am, it's alphabetical order, right?
Always, yes.
Like alphabetical order of the ligands.
Alphabetical
Okay.
order of the names. Like if you're writing the name has to be in alphabetical order. When you're writing the formula,
Okay.
name has to be in alphabetical order. So either way.
Okay.
Just a second, guys. I'll modify this 5th one. This is wrong. This is 2. Shantanu, yes, you got the second one almost. Follow the rule cation first, anion next. So name also, formula also. So यहाँ पे K is the cation, no? So पहले K आना चाहिए. उसका formula will be K and then the complex that you have written. But complex now, always it should be in square brackets. Okay, so everything is correct, just these formatting things take care of it. So Cn in brackets 6 times, that is correct. Fe correct, but this should be enclosed in square bracket, and cation first, anion next. Yeah. Mitali has sent 3 and 4. Let me check. 3 is correct. 4. 4 is Mitali. 4th one is an anion. So how does the metal name change? Take care of that.
Oh yeah, sorry, I missed that. Okay, I'll change that.
Huh. Question 5. Look at point number 4. That's why I had given that example specifically. So when the name inside already has like di, tri, and all, then the outside numbering will change into like this. Dhriti has sent. Okay. 3 and 4. Dhriti, correct. 4 ke liye you missed out on the oxidation state. Rest of it is correct.
Sorry, ma'am, what?
Oxidation state.
Both is wrong?
Wrong, no, you didn't mention it.
Okay, sorry. I'll write it and send you again.
Shantanu, like you can also, you don't have to send all at once. If you figured out the third one, you can send that. Uske baad send the fourth one. Send it one at a time. I can give you the feedback then and there itself.
Ma'am, I sent you all of them. You've given me feedback for 3, 4, 5, and 6. I've also sent.
5 ke liye I told you, like look, take care of 0.4. Otherwise, rest of it is fine. Like the naming convention is fine. Sixth one I'm checking now.
Oh, ma'am, 6th one may I sort of like I forgot about the alphabetical order, so that diamine should come pehle.
ठीक है. Otherwise, yes, rest of it is all correct.
Okay, ma'am, got it.
So Mitali, you've got the hang of it. It's just minor. Like I can't say it out loud because then it's gonna give.
Yeah, but ma'am, again, like you said, those minor errors will cost me like half a mark.
Fine tuning is required. This is how you know. Like the more things you do, you get to know it. Sixth is fine. Like I'm not sure if that was a typo or what. Can you resend 5?
Ma'am, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a second.
Shantanu, are you still stuck on 3?
No, ma'am.
So if you're done with 3, send it first. So based on the feedback that I give for 3, you can attempt the rest, you know. Like, then you won't make the same mistake in all of them.
Mrs. Send the answer for 5. I'm not sure though.
Vithali, you didn't get it. Okay, I'll send the correction over chat. Dhriti, question 5. Dhriti, you got it. Okay, so naming the complex, you got it properly. But EN का जो है, ethylene diamine, use IUPAC naming format for that also.
Sorry, ma'am, we lost you.
Oh, at what point did you lose me?
Your
After you
naming
said-
is
Yeah.
after you said, but I lost you. I couldn't hear anything you said.
Oh, dang. And we lost all the questions also. Just write down 3, 4, 5. No, I've forgotten what I've given. 3 and 4 is this. CR, CL2 taken 4 times plus 4 is CR, CL4H2. Same thing but reverse, which is why this becomes minus. 5 was this, right? So what was it? Okay. Yes, you again.
Sorry, I didn't know my mic was on. Sorry.
It's okay, you don't have to apologize. Uh, just give me- Yeah, these were the things, right? So Dhriti, I was giving feedback to you, right? So I was mentioning use IUPAC name for the ethylene diamine, the EN part of it for this particular species also.
Okay.
Mitali, I'm giving you feedback for 5 over chat.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Shantanu, can you send your answers?
Ma'am, I can't reply to you on chat. It says Lasya J is not in this meeting.
No, it must have like I reconnected, right? See if there's a different Lasya J in the same meeting.
Yeah, ma'am, I'll check.
Oh, Shantanu.
No, ma'am, there are only the 3 of us.
Haven't it always like all at the end? I mean, in the middle of the class, it's only me and Mitali were there. The others are just God knows where.
Yeah, it happens.
Yes, ma'am, now I can reply.
Okay.
And yes, ma'am, I got it.
I got your reply. Okay. Dhriti, are you sending 6 also?
Miss, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm not sure though. It's a little tricky. So give me 2 minutes.
Okay. Okay, 3, 4, 5, since the 2 of you have already done it, we'll do it. 3 is pretty simple.
Miss, can we both know the answers, so can we not discuss that and can we discuss the sixth one?
Just a moment.
If Mitali is okay, if she wants to discuss, I don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, I gave all the answers. Ma'am gave me the feedback as well. So, like, we're done. But the guys who aren't done, they left.
Yeah, no. Anyway. Okay, 3, 4, 5. No, I wanted to discuss because there were like minor stuff for both of you. So I
Yeah,
figured.
miss, but then you already gave us the feedback of those minor tidbits which we
Okay,
missed out of stuff.
cool. Okay. So this one. So first, look at the ligands. Actually, just a minute. Look at the ligands. So we have bromide, we have cyanide, and we have ammonia, amine, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Alphabetical में amine
Amine first.
have 2 of them. So
So diamine, then we'll have
then
dibromido.
So bromide है, anion becomes ends with O, so this becomes bromido.
I don't know why did I write bromodo.
Dibromido. Then cyanide becomes cyanido. Again, dicyanide. And this is an anion and nickel hai.
Cobaltate.
Cobalt.
No, sorry, nickelate. My bad. Nickelate.
Nickelate and oxidation number. So have you
We did
calculated
everything.
the oxidation number, Dhriti?
No, ma'am. 1 second.
So Br ka 2 minus hai because there's 2 of them. Cyanide ka
Again, it'll be -2, then it'll be +2, which is equal to -2. X.
-2.
So nickel का oxidation state क्या होगा?
It can't be 0, right?
No. Math. -2.
No, -2
Overall
minus
होना चाहिए.
+2. हाँ.
So -2 होगा नहीं +2 होगा NH2 का.
Absolutely. So 2 under Roman numeral. Ion hai. Just mention it as ion. That's it. Okay. So start by listing out the ligands. So once you have the name of the ligands, usse you'll also get the alphabetical order. And then you just have to focus on the metal, like the central metal atom. So name, decide whether 8 will happen or not. That is decided by this thing. And uske baad oxidation state. For every single like naming thing, just follow that. Simple ho jayega. Focus one aspect at a time. Pretty straightforward. This nomenclature is so much more easier than your organic chemistry ka nomenclature. It's very straightforward. Ansh, yeah, you've been having internet issues, but like, have you been able to note down these compounds, figure out the nomenclature? Like, attempt any of these?
I don't have internet issues. I have Zoom. I have laptop issues. The laptop is doing weird stuff since morning. Also, I wrote the previous examples, not these new ones.
Okay. Okay. So I'll give you guys names, like do the reverse. So based on the names, give me the formula. And you can like catch up, just check the recording later on and then practice.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. All right. So this is gonna be some writing. Okay. First one is penta aqua bromo manganese 3 sulfate. Next one is hexamine. Ruthenium. Yes, know the formula for ruthenium. Have you heard of the metal?
Nope.
Okay. So ruthenium is Ru. Tetra. So 2 and 3, you see cation, anion, both of them are complexes. So all the more practice. Okay.
Miss, can you repeat the first one? It's penta, aqua, bromo, manganese, 3 sulfate, right?
Mitali, don't be confused between magnesium and manganese. First,
Sorry. I assumed that G then.
and second issue is so you call it the coordination sphere, right? Whatever is part of the complex, the whole thing will be enclosed in square brackets.
Oh, so the Mn will also be within the bracket. Okay, I missed that. Okay, yes, got it.
Charge, okay, that is something we need to consider. Oh, take care of like the oxidation state and charges, so that also will matter. So Mitali, you'll have to like redo the first one again for that. So once I get from Dhriti and Ansh, then I'll see if I have to discuss it here or not.
So ma'am, okay, wait. I'll redo the. I got my mistakes. I'll redo the first one.
So just like hot tip things to remember basically. The formula for ligands. No. So this is oxidation state of manganese alone. साथ में see if actually wait, that could be my issue. हाँ, साथ में see what other ions are also there. So that's going to decide the charge on the overall.
So I'll have to basically calculate and neutralize the charge in the square bracket first, and then put that valency for the sulfate. I cannot directly put the 3 there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Simple addition. Like overall charge will be charge of all the ligands plus charge on this thing. First check formula for ligands, then formula for the metal like metal atom that's there, central metal. Then you need to figure
Ma'am,
out
same valency cancels out, right?
charge on the coordination sphere. So whatever is in square brackets comes under coordination sphere. So this is equal to sum of all charges. Okay, so उससे formula मिल जाएगा. Awesome. All of you got it. Yuti got it. Ansh got it. Mitali, yes. When you don't have multiple of SO4, you don't have to put it in brackets. And
Okay, ma'am.
that's a typo. You missed out on the left side square bracket, but otherwise everything else is fine. Correct. Oh, one minor thing, you guys. Ansh, actually, all of you have done the same thing. Ligands always follow alphabetical order.
Ma'am, but it is in the alphabetical order, right?
The name or like the formula follow alphabetical order.
Oh, so then, okay.
These are penta aqua and one bromo. So Mn, Br, H2O taken 5 times. इसके ऊपर चार्ज कितना मैंगनीज का +3 है, ब्रोमीन का -1 है, तो overall it's +2, sulfate is -2, there will be one of this SO4. Awesome. All of you guys got it. So 2 and 3 also just do it. So these are like the 4 points you need to ensure that you know these, and then you can get it. Once you get the chart, it's the typical like crisscross balancing. Cool. Once you guys are done with this, then I'll start with crystal field theory.
And the second one is one compound, or are they two or different compounds?
It's one compound. So from here to here is the cation, and from here to here is the anion. So both of them are coordination spheres. So basically your overall formula is gonna look something like this. You have one ruthenium ka thing, and then यहाँ पे nickel का thing. ऐसे. Of course, crisscross valency से you need to figure out यहाँ पे अगर number कुछ आएगा कि नहीं. Oh, yes, I've sent. Ansh, the second one is incomplete. You sent me the ruthenium ka thing. What about the rest of the compound? Anion part of it. किधर है? Mitali, I think you just got confused with this. So look at like it's very straightforward. You don't have to overthink it. If I give you something like ammonium carbonate, how will you figure out the formula for this?
It'll be NH4 twice CO3.
How did you figure that out?
Because ammonium is NH4 plus and carbonate is CO3 minus. CO3 2 minus.
So you took the cation separately, you took the anion separately for crisscross valency, and you got the compound as NH4.
Oh, so the second one should also be in two separate boxes.
CO3. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
So,
sorry, sir.
You have cation separately, you have anion separately. The formula will be two things exactly like this. But again, because it is a coordinate complex, you have two different square brackets.
Ma'am, the one I sent you, which is very long and looks complicated, is for the third one. Okay, and I'll send you the second one in a minute.
Okay, I'll go over it. Dhriti, you had sent, so that is second one. So whenever you have cation anion, it's a compound, right? Like agar ammonium carbonate liya, to it's not gonna end with any ionic charges there. You adjusted it using this crisscross valency method. So iske liye bhi you do the same thing. Yeah, I'll do the second one and then you guys do the third one based on that. Second one ka answer I'm putting here. So cation is hexaamine ruthenium. So ruthenium is the metal atom, amine matlab NH3, and there's 6 of it. Oxidation state hai 3. Ammonia is neutral, so it says 0 hoga. So for this whole thing, I get 3 plus. The anion is tetrachloronickelate. So I just have nickel and tetrachloro. Abhi overall charge nickelate ka +2 hai. There are 4 chloride matlab -4. Overall is 2 minus. Now this box has a charge of 3 plus. This box has a charge of 2 minus. How will we create a formula with both of these?
Ma'am, you'll simply interchange the valency and then you'll get RuNH36 twice, the whole square twice, and NiCl4 the whole square thrice, like this one.
There you go. Correct. This twice and then NiCl4, this thing thrice. So this would be the formula. See, there's no like plus, minus, anything at all. Okay. Dhriti, got it? Dhriti, you got this separately, but joining both of them, wahan pe you got confused.
Yeah, I messed that part up.
Ansh, I don't know, like ruthenium ठीक है, hexamine ठीक है, फिर tetrachloro है ना, और nickelate कहाँ गया? So, okay, but Ansh, did you get the hang of it now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so all of you do the third one and exact same method. Take the cation separately, take the anion separately, उसके बाद crisscross method direct. Okay, Natalia sent. Pentacyanidohydroxyferrate. There you go. Mitali got the hang of it. Third one is correct. Okay, Riti, Ansh, send it. Shantanu, I know like you got disconnected, join in the middle, but how much of it were you able to follow? Like, can you attempt? Can you do this?
Yes, ma'am.
Take it one step at a time. Do each one separately. And then final step may join. Okay.
Miss, the second part is pentacyanide,
Cyanido,
cyanido,
hydroxido.
hydroxid, yeah, hydroxido ferrate, right?
Yeah. Okay. Ansh, first part में H2O कहाँ से आया? Like cation में there's only this much, na? Shantanu, you got the ligands correctly. The second one you got it, but creating the formula you didn't get it. Okay. Otherwise, like first one separately, second one separately, you got it. That's absolutely right. Good stuff, man. So Ansh, first part, okay. So Dhriti, are you sending it abhi? Like, should I discuss here or should I just wait for a minute?
Miss, you can discuss. I am unable to figure out the second part.
Okay. I'll put it in green this one. Huh. So the first part is tetraamine copper. So copper है Cu. Tetraamine मतलब NH3 taken 4 times. Okay. Then 2 है. So basically charge on copper is +2. Ammonia is neutral molecule 0. So overall 2 plus है इसका. Then the second part, what is the metal cation? Ferrate मतलब unsure Dhriti, one of you. Ferrate मतलब क्या आएगा? Fe, iron. Iron is Fe because its Latin name is ferrum. So ferrate, ferrous, ferric, Fe. Then pentacyanide. So what ligands do we have? Pentacyanide hydroxido. इसका मतलब क्या होगा? See, how do we get ligands का name? Anionic अगर है तो it's the same thing except you just put a O at the end, right? So if I remove the O for both the ligands, what do I get? यहाँ से this is cyanide and this is hydroxido. So hydroxid अगर O निकाल दिया तो hydroxide. So these are my two ligands. So cyanide, how many do we have? Penta. Penta matlab what is the number? Five. Hydroxide is OH. That's it. Now charge is Pe. So ferrate, this is at +3. 5 cyanide overall will be -5. 1 hydroxide overall will be -1. So if I add all of these three, my overall charge on this whole thing is -3. So we got our cation, we got our anion. Uske baad bas crisscross. So you get Cu NH3 taken 4 times, thrice, and Fe Cn taken 5 times, OH taken twice. Yeah. So this is 3 ka formula. Okay, so Shanti, you got the hang of figuring out these names. Formula ke liye, it's like how you did it for like NaCl, MgCl2 wale compounds. Get the charge based on oxidation state iska. That is given directly. यहाँ पे जो Roman numeral है, that is the oxidation state. And ligands का भी get the oxidation state. या तो 0 होगा या फिर -1, -2 होगा. So that you need to have that knowledge of ligands, CN minus, OH minus, Cl minus, Br minus, all of that. So once you get that, just add them up. So whatever result you get, that is the charge on that whole ion. Uske baad, just crisscross method, valency, then do that. Okay. How's it going? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Ansh, what about you? Yeah, okay. Do you want to practice on your own or do you want to do it in class itself?
No, ma'am, I think
Plus, we can practice on our own.
yeah, this much is enough. We can move on.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I'll start. So we have valence bond theory and we have crystal field theory. I want to focus more on crystal field theory, but if you want me to do both of them, we can do that. What do you guys say? I'll revise valence bond theory. If you guys are like struggling with it,
If we can do both
Yes,
by
ma'am.
5:15, then we can do both.
okay.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Valence bond theory. Guys, grade 11 May, you have studied about chemical bonding, right? So you had like hybridization, molecular orbital theory, valence bond theory, all of these stuff. How much of it do you remember?
I do remember, but like if you ask me something right now, I won't be able to answer. But as you like go on, I'll recall and understand everything.
Okay. Because the valence bond theory that we talk about here is very, very similar to the valence bond theory that you studied about there. Okay. So this is the earlier theory to explain structure of these coordinate complexes. So like I'll take an example here. If I have CuNH3 taken 4 times, how does this exist? Ye charo NH3, how are they forming the bond? Is it like square planar? Is it tetrahedral? Where are they arranged? So valence bond theory kind of, it's the first step towards answering like what it is. Okay. Just like with chemical bonding, iske bhi there's steps to it. We have valence bond theory, we have crystal field theory, and then there's ligand field theory and molecular orbital theory, but those two are like much higher level, so we haven't touched that yet. Okay, so we'll look at only the first two. Okay, so according to valence bond theory, first point is, so central atom can use either n-1d and ns and np orbitals, or ns, np and nd orbitals. So what this means is, like for example, take something in the middle. Suppose we have ion. Do you guys remember the electronic configuration of ion? I'll give you the atomic number 26. Can we do the electronic configurations now?
1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, and 4s. What? How much is that?
That's 2.
4s2, 3d, 6.
Yeah. Okay. Yahan tak, let's ignore noble gas configuration. This is what we need because these are the electrons that are like incomplete orbitals that are going to take part in bonding. So ion, the valence shell is 4s. So if ion is forming like a coordinate complex, either it can use 3d, 4s and 4p orbitals. That's what it means, n-1d, ns and np orbitals. Or it can use 4s, 4p and 4d orbitals. In the case of ion, you won't really see it a lot, but this is observed in nickel and in copper and other things. But basically, it falls into roughly two of these categories. Okay, either the previous shell ka d orbital or the current shell ka d orbital it's gonna use. So this is what, like, you guys have, do you remember when we were doing hybridization, we came across DSP2, D2sp3, these hybridized orbitals?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so this is where it's made use of. Like, you haven't solved a lot of questions because you don't find this in regular compounds. So like this sort of hybridization, you'll observe it in coordination compounds. Okay, that is the story. So basically, central atom uses these orbitals and for hybridization. Same points as hybridization. So hybridization ke baad, whatever set of orbitals you get, all of them are equivalent, same energy, all of that. So depending on what hybridization is used, it has its own geometry. So if the coordination number is 4, then the hybridization could be sp3. Then the shape is tetrahedral. If the coordination number 4, another possibility is dsp2. This happens if there is like an empty d orbital. If it happens to be dsp2, then the shape is square planar. Then coordination number 5, sp3d. This you guys have seen phosphorus mein, like trigonal bipyramidal. If it is 6, again, two cases. It can use n-1d or it can use nsnpnd. So if it is n-1d, then if it is nsnpnd, it's sp3d2. If it is the other way around, like previous thing, will be d2sp3. In both the cases, it is octahedral. Okay, so depending on how many empty orbitals it has, it'll undergo that particular hybridization, and then the shape is decided by the hybridization. Okay, now coming to the bonding part of it, okay, metal atom ka empty orbitals have hybridized. They followed one of these hybridization. You got some hybrid orbitals. Then when the ligand comes closer, like suppose you have ammonia as a ligand. So ammonia will donate its lone pair of electrons. Like any ligand for that matter, even if it's anionic, Cl minus hai, it's going to donate the lone pair of electrons to the hybridized orbital. Okay. So hybrid orbitals overlap with ligand orbitals containing the lone pair of electrons. Okay, so that's like the story according to valence bond theory. The issue with valence bond theory is it's very, very crude. Like looking at the formula, you won't be able to figure out if, you know, like whether it is sp3 or dsp2, whether it's sp3d2 or d2sp3. So it's not something you can predict easily. So this particular theory, like the way it was developed, it was basically reverse engineered. So you look at the magnetic properties first. So magnetic properties matlab whether it's paramagnetic or diamagnetic, is it reacting to a magnetic field or is it not reacting to a magnetic field? This is something that you guys have studied earlier also. If something is paramagnetic, what does that mean? Like electronic configuration mein?
That means it has like free valence electrons that move around in the orbitals.
Unpaired electrons.
Unpaired. Yes, sorry.
Okay, so paramagnetic matlab unpaired electrons hai. Diamagnetic matlab all the electrons are
Paired electrons.
So based on the magnetic property, you figure out whether they are unpaired electrons or paired electrons. Usse you'll come to know the what do you call electronic configuration. Like for example, iron ka complex itself, let's say d orbitals may, like there are 6 electrons, right? Either they can exist like this. In this case, all the electrons are unpaired, or they can exist like this. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if this is the configuration that a complex took on, this is going to be diamagnetic. And if this is the electronic configuration, this is paramagnetic. So based on the magnetic properties, you figure out what the electronic configuration is. And yahan pe all the electrons are occupying all d orbitals. So which means that in this case, it's only sp3 or sp3d or sp3d2. That would be the electronic configuration. And if it happens to be diamagnetic, then you figure out that, oh, d2sp3 is a possibility. Okay. So this doesn't really help in that, like you can't predict the properties of something. Like something's already existing and then you're studying it and then you're, forming notes about it by looking at the patterns. Okay. So that is the reason this valence bond theory fails. So you check, like you don't know what elements can form coordination compounds, because if it is just a matter of rearranging electrons, like anything can, you can just do like trial and error and figure it out, but that may not be the reality. It doesn't give you the directional properties, it doesn't give you the magnetic and optical properties like the color and all of that. In fact, from the magnetic properties you are figuring out ki bonding kaisa hai, structure kaisa hai. So valence bond theory doesn't really help much in this case. So which is why crystal field theory comes into the picture. That's why it's more important. It's a lot more, it is more accepted than valence bond theory. Crystal field theory, main points. One, it is based on repulsive electrostatic interactions. Yeah, simple. So repulsive forces hote hain, they're simple electrostatic repulsions, like positive के बीच में जो होता है, negative के बीच में जो होता है, that's what it is based on. Okay. So for this, imagine a metal atom hypothetically. So let's say this is the metal atom. Metal atom is fine. There's like electron around it. Orbitals are there, d orbitals are there. Certain electrons occupy certain shells. Everything is fine. Now ligands are always electron donating. Matlab, if there's a ligand around, there's more negative charge around. Kyunki electrons here, ligand ke paas. So let's say this metal atom is at this particular energy level. Now metal atom, let's say this is uniformly surrounded by a ligand. Uniformly matlab in a sphere on all sides. What do you think will happen in this case?
Ma'am, can you repeat that?
So like metal atom hai, around the metal atom, like you have electrons, D shell में, S shell में, like all of that. If it's a cation, then D shell में you have certain number of electrons. This is surrounded by a ligand uniformly on all sides,
Okay.
spherically. So what do you think happens? So there's electrons surrounding the metal, like its own electrons. Ligands are also like negatively charged, whether it's a neutral lone pair of electrons or anionic lone pair of electrons, whatever the case may be, they're electron donors. So this is also negatively charged. So negative charge, what sort of interaction will both of these have?
There'll be a repulsion between the ligands and the electrons within the atom, or the coordination sphere.
Correct. No, don't talk about coordination sphere. अभी तक वहां तक नहीं पहुंचे.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Metal atom ligand के बीच में there's going to be repulsion forces, right? So if there's something repelling against each other, the overall potential energy increases. So initially, when the metal atom was free and independent, let's focus on its d orbitals, because they are the outermost orbitals and they are the ones taking part in bonding. So we're focusing on d orbitals, 5 of them, they're over here. Then if it is uniformly surrounding, all the 5 d orbitals ka energy is increased uniformly. Yeah. But this is not the reality. It's not like whenever you take any coordinate complex, you don't have like the ligand surrounding it on all sides. Uska ek specific coordination number hai. It may be 4, it may be 5, it may be 6, it may be 2 or 3 also. It depends, right? You don't have like infinite number of ligands there. So in reality, crystal field theory ke liye, we are going to consider 2 specific cases. So coordination number 6 jo hai, octahedral geometry, and when coordination number 4, tetrahedral geometry. These are the 2 cases that we will consider here. So the first case, let's take octahedral geometry. Okay, so for this, I need you guys to remember what is the geometry of like d orbitals. How do d orbitals exist in an atom? Do you remember?
Ma'am, which orbitals exist in an atom?
D orbitals.
Oh, we have 6 configurations for d orbitals, right?
No, 5.
Yeah, sorry, like of 5 configuration, we have dxy, dxz, dyz. Then we have something minus something as well, and then we have something square.
Square.
That's how I remember it.
And dz.
Z square, yes.
Yeah. So in the first case, like basically when they're free, the energies in all 5 d orbitals are equal. It doesn't matter which one the electron is in, but because all of them belong to the same 3d, 4d, whatever it may be, the same d orbital, so all energies are equal. So when the energies are equal, when the orbitals are equivalent, it means like we say they are all degenerate. So yahan pe they're all degenerate because they exist at the same energy level. Here also they're basically degenerate only because all their energy levels, they're at the same place. Yeah, is point se is point tak. Now I'll just like refresh your shape. Where did it go? Just a second, guys. Okay, yeah. So these are the shapes of the d orbitals. अभी कुछ याद आ रहा है? Like, is it making sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So dxy matlab the orbitals are in the xy plane in between like x and y axis. So if this is x axis, this is y axis, the orbitals are between the x and y axis in the same plane. Okay, so dyz matlab same thing except in the yz plane. So it's like perpendicular to this. It's this way. It's difficult to represent in the 2D thing. So we'll start with dxy. We have x, so it's between x and y axis. So z axis either way, it's like this. Then dxz is the same thing except it's between x and z axis. So it's like
Ma'am, the first three ones are easy to understand, but what about the dx square minus y square one?
same thing. The shape is the same, except instead of being between the axis, it's along the axis. So I'll draw it and show it to you. So agar ye hai x axis, if this is y axis, xy is in yellow. Yeah, it's between the x and y axis. So x square, y square, I'm drawing it in red. It's gonna look like this. It's along the axis. Getting it?
Yes, ma'am, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is how the orbitals are, like the d orbitals. D orbitals matlab the electrons exist within the d orbitals only. So they are all arranged in a specific direction with respect to x and y axis. Now coming to our octahedral geometry. Let's get back here. What is the octahedral shape? Like if I say this particular species, like if I have NH3 taken, coordination number 6 times 6 hai, and they are all arranged in octahedral shape. What does it mean? So octahedral.
Ma'am, yeah, could you repeat that? Sorry.
So coordination number 6 hai na, we're considering octahedral shape first.
Yeah.
Octahedral shape matlab, what does it look like? So there is a square along one plane, and then there's ligands over here, top and bottom. Right? Like these are the places where ligands are going to approach from. It's not going to be a sphere. There's only 6 ligands here because coordination number is 6. And where are those 6 ligands? They are over here. 5 and 6. Okay. So between these 5d orbitals, which are orbitals are going to face like maximum repulsion? Like not here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is where they're going to come from. So going by this, which d orbitals are going to face maximum repulsion?
Ma'am, the ones which are perpendicular, top and bottom.
So tell me the name of the orbitals. dxy, xz, yz. These three exist in between the axis, like ये space में they exist. Square y square is along the x and y axis, and dz square is along the z axis. So in Pancho में, which one's going to experience like maximum repulsion?
dx square minus y square.
Correct, because that's directly on x and y axis. So like these are also coming on the axis itself. So that's going
Yes,
to
ma'am.
experience repulsion. And dz square also, because dz square is aligned along the z axis with a tire in between. Accepted? So more repulsion for dx square y square and less repulsion for all 5 of them are not going to have equal energy. So this is going to be if this is the, if it was equal, all of them would be at this particular energy level, but that's not the case. So dx square y square and dz square, these two would be at a higher energy, and the other three, dxy, dyz, dxz, is going to be at a lower energy. Because if like in the case of a sphere, the repulsions are all equal, so all 5 of them would be at equal energy, higher energy, but still all 5 are together. But that's not the reality. Like when it's approaching from octahedral sense, some orbitals will have more repulsion because they're closer, and some orbitals will have less repulsion because that's how it's aligned. So dx square y square and dz square, which are along the axis, will have more repulsion, so they're going to have a higher energy. And the other three, dxy, dyz, and dxz, are going to have lower energy because they're slightly away from wherever the ligands are. Okay, make sense? So because from having equal energies, we are splitting up these orbitals. The difference in their energy, this is represented by delta O for octahedral. So this delta naught is crystal field splitting energy, CFSC. The way it is split also is not random. To keep things equal, the two orbitals with higher energy consist of 3.5 delta naught, and the three of them, like what it reduces by, this would be 2/5 delta naught. Okay. So just a naming convention, these three are given the name as T2G orbitals, and these two are given the name EG orbitals.
Ma'am, just to clarify, in tetrahedral, the opposite, right?
Yeah, because in the case of tetrahedral, the approach is from between the axis.
Okay.
We will have more effect and these two will have less effect. So it's the other way around.
But the ratio, like 3:5 delta naught and 2:5 delta naught, remains the same, right? For higher or lower orbitals. Okay.
Always symmetrical because overall should be delta naught. Okay, so this splitting is called like this phenomenon where the d orbitals are splitting up in their extent of energy. So that is called crystal field splitting. Why? Like, where is this crystal coming from? Again, solid state, you guys have learned crystal lattice and all. Crystal basically geometry of how the particles are arranged. So this is also arising out of the geometry and ligand के field से हो रहा है, so crystal field splitting. And you can make a note. So splitting हो गया मतलब they are not degenerate anymore. The degeneracy is lost. Here they are degenerate. Well, you can draw the shape also. So dx square y square is along the axis. So it's going to look something like this. X and y. And dz square is, say this is x, this is y. Is along the z axis. So maximum repulsion, because octahedral matlab all the ligands are along the axis only. And in this case, repulsion is lesser than this because it's in between. Again, x and y matlab dxy is like this. D yz is gonna be between y and z axis. So like this. And xz will be horizontal. So here. Now ligand is over here, so not gonna have so much of an effect as much as for this thing. So Ansh, Dhriti, Shantanu, have you guys like followed what is happening like according to crystal field theory? Like where is this crystal field splitting coming from? All of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the main thing. So I've discussed for coordination number 6. When the coordination number 4, like in the case of tetrahedral, same thing happens except it's in between. So it's the opposite. Like this becomes reverse. These three go on top, these two go on bottom. Now, how do you decide whether it's going to be paired? Like how do you figure out the electronic configuration? Pairing takes place or doesn't take place, all of that stuff. If you're done noting this, if there's no questions, doubts based on this, we go to the next part.
No doubts, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Dhriti and Ansh?
This is all clear.
Okay,
No, ma'am.
all right. So again, now we have talked about the ligand, like the repulsive forces between ligand and the d electrons, right? So whether pairing takes place or not, all of that, it depends on the ligand ka field strength. So some ligands will have like a lot of like repulsive forces that they exert. Some ligands will not like barely exert any force at all. So depending on how strong that repulsive force of that ligand is, that will decide how much is this delta not going to be. Is it going to be a big difference or is it going to be a small difference? All of that stuff. So you guys, like there's something called spectrochemical series. Field strength, I minus has the least amount of strength, followed by Br minus, followed by SCN minus. This is thiocyanate, followed by chloride, followed by sulfide, followed by fluoride, OH minus, oxalate, water, isothiocyanate, Ta followed by NH3 followed by En, Cn minus Co. So this you can like roughly remember. So this is called spectrochemical series. So if it's an extremely strong ligand, like something on this side, this is going to force pairing of electrons. And if it is in the weak field, it's not strong enough, then there is a chance for unpaired electrons to be present in that complex. Yeah. So what do we mean by pairing of electrons, unpaired electrons? What is happening here? Okay. So again, remember the case, like I said, if we take iron, one of two things can happen. So there's 5 d orbitals. Either, there's no pairing of electrons, so all 5 electrons like occupy the original configuration, or there can be forced pairing of electrons by the ligand that is there. So all 6 electrons are paired up and they exist in the T2g orbitals only. Eg is left empty. So how do we decide whether it is this case or this case? So that depends on whether it's a strong ligand or weak ligand. If you want to be more specific, there's something called pairing energy. So if delta naught is less than the pairing energy, so the splitting, like the field strength of ligand is so low, which means the crystal field splitting energy is not that great that it's not able to overcome the energy required for pairing to force the electron over here. Then the fourth d electron, so 1, 2, 3, the fourth one will enter the like Eg orbital. If the splitting energy is high enough, like T2g Eg में बहुत सारा difference है, if it is overcoming the pairing energy, then D4 enters T2g orbital, मतलब pairing is taking place. ठीक है?
Yes, ma'am.
Making sense? Yes, this is like a rough revision. If you want to be more specific, more in detail, let me know. Otherwise, if this makes sense, you're able to understand, you can answer questions based on this, then that's cool.
Ma'am, just a second, like I'm noting it down.
So this follows magnetic property also, like based on what ligand is there, what is the electronic configuration of the cation. If there's unpaired electrons, paramagnetic, all are paired, then it's diamagnetic. You don't have to reverse engineer, say directly pata chal jayega, which is why crystal field theory is like better also.
Yes, ma'am, got it. And done, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Ansh, Dhriti, Shantanu, how's it going, guys?
Done, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
None, ma'am.
Understood, like, is it making a lot, is it helping? Or
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
like I don't
This is
want
better than the textbook.
cool. I just don't want this to be just words that you remember. Like I need it to make sense to you guys. That's all. Okay. All right. So is say, will you guys be able to calculate magnetic moment? Like let's say, let me open this thing here.
Ma'am, that's mu minus 1 into n or something like that, right?
So mu is magnetic moment. The formula is magnetic moment का formula mu is equal to root over n into n minus 1, where n is the number of unpaired electrons. So ये कहाँ से आएगा? Like is you need to get this from the electronic configuration from the metal cation. Okay. So electronic configuration जानने के लिए you need to know two things. One is the atomic number and like basically metal cation का oxidation state, the oxidation number. So उससे पता चलेगा कि has it lost 2 electrons, has it lost 3 electrons. That way you can figure out d orbital में कितने बचे अभी तक. The second thing is you need to know the strength of the ligand. So उससे पता चलेगा कि is it like has pairing happened or pairing has not happened. So based on that, figure out the electronic configuration, to get the number of unpaired electrons. But you'll be asked questions like, if not, like you don't need to calculate this, you'll be asked whether it's paramagnetic, diamagnetic. Uske liye you just need to find out whether there's unpaired electrons or not. Like the first one here, which of the following complex ions is diamagnetic in nature? Will you guys be able to answer this sort of a question? Mitali has sent in. Dhriti and Shantanu, you guys working it out or?
Yeah, ma'am. Just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
So diamagnetic matlab it must be all paired up. So likely that strong ion hona chahiye. So first you can like compare it with your spectrochemical series. The strongest. So just check the chlorine and the cyanide ones. Fluorine and cyanide also. Yeah, I read you can ignore. Okay, Mitali and Dhriti have already answered it. Got it. Ansh, Shantanu, in the process, stuck somewhere? क्या हो रहा है? Cobalt is 27, no?
What did you say, miss?
No, cobalt atomic number is 27.
Miss, I can't hear you.
Okay.
Hello, miss.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can hear you. What did you say?
Now I was just confirming cobalt atomic number is 27, nickel is 28, copper is 29. Okay. So I'll take your word for it, guys. Okay, all of you. Shantanu, what is going on? Where are you?
I didn't do that.
ठीक है. Diamagnetic मतलब all electrons should be paired up. Pairing करने के लिए check where you have like a really strong ligand. So one, like obviously even number of electrons होना चाहिए. That's like an easy hack way to figure out. And उसके ऊपर, if you have a really strong ligand, it's gonna force all the electrons to be paired up. So check in which case. So cyanide is one of the like strongest ligands. So check the number of electrons, see whether pairing will take place in this case or not. So based on that, you can figure it out. So to figure out like pairing has taken place or not, I'm gonna start with this only because cyanide is like the strongest ligand. That gives me a hint. Nickel is 28 atomic number. Matlab, ideally ending May I should have 3d8 4s2. But I need to figure out like यहाँ पे what is the, like nickel is not neutral. It has lost some electrons because overall कुछ तो charge है इस पे. So cyanide overall -4. This is ending up with -2. matlab this will be +2. So 4s2 electrons it has lost, left with 3d8. So 8 electrons, how do you arrange it in 5 orbitals? Cyanide matlab first T2G should be filled up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's going to be in EG, right? So will this be strong enough to pair up these 2 electrons also within this? That I'll have to check. Okay. But this is how you approach it. Like get the number of electrons, figure out the oxidation state. Usse you'll find how many electrons are there in d orbital and then get the electronic configuration from that. The questions you have. See, most of questions related to crystal field theory is this only. Paramagnetic, high spin, low spin, how many unpaired electrons, and the shape, of course, that way.